Welcome to Kalamazoo Lively Arts, the show that takes you inside Kalamazoo's vibrant, creative community and explores the people who breathe life into the arts.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.
I'm John Koch here at the historic Kalamazoo State Theater. On today's show, Shelley Irwin lets the plaster fly with sculptor Brent Harris at the Park Trade Center and creates a unique sound with music producer Monteith Jordan. But first, Shelley takes a walk around the expansive Gilmore Car Museum.
The cars themselves, they all have individual histories or stories. We could go through and talk about how fast they go, but when you look at the car and you realize probably starting in the late 20s, the styling that went into those cars were really pretty spectacular. You have artists like Raymond Dietrich, who was very involved in different art movements. His wife was involved with Kalamazoo Institute of Arts. He was a designer of cars. He actually designed a guitar for Gibson guitar that's what you think of when Kiss plays. But when you have a car that's a Dietrich design, you'll recognize it and go, oh my word, this is just the flowing lines and it's just a classic appeal. And it goes beyond that. You know, we have a car on exhibit from 1958. It's a Corvette that was given to women in the design team at General Motors called the Damsels of Design. And they were told, take this car and make it appeal to you. And so they had it painted different colors. They had different things that they did to the car that they thought would appeal to women. So a lot of art really went into designing the car. You know, sometimes we look at cars today and think, oh, they all look alike. But there really is a lot when it comes to color and flow of lines. And probably the best example is probably the mid-30s. They call that the classic era. And the classics, you know, whether it's Auburn or Cord or Duesenberg, those cars that some of the ultra wealthy would have owned, have some of the most stunning lines, and just the chrome and the headlights and pretty spectacular vehicles. You certainly can see the art in those.
We're ready to learn about the Dietrich, Jay.
Sure. This is a 1932 Lincoln KB, and it's a Dietrich bodied car, so it was custom built by Raymond Dietrich. He was actually from Kalamazoo, had a shop in Grand Rapids. What's really interesting about his designs is the flowing lines throughout the car. You see the V windshield, and you really see it here in the curve in the door. This car has a division window for the passengers, so it probably would have been chauffeur driven. The window rolls down in the back. There's even a cigarette lighter back there and a little pocket mirror. So Raymond Dietrich did some fantastic things. This really is the classic time of a design. In fact, they call them the classics from the 30s. This exhibit is our special exhibits, American Legends, Hot Rods, and Customs. And in it, we were really honored and pleased that Tom Fritz is a well-known artist, created a lot of artwork for us within the exhibit. And it's artwork that ties to the cars and the time they're in. So you'll see a piece of artwork where a car looks like it's racing, and we were able to put a car in front of it, look like they're racing together. He is also created art that they've used on U.S. postage stamps. We actually have another big collection of artwork here who also did the same thing for postage stamps. Kind of neat that there's been 3 series of automotive art for postage stamps, and we have the artwork from those 2 artists that did the 3 series here at the museum.
Ford Model T. I'm going to take you for a ride, Jay.
Fantastic. So let's get it started, right?
How do we do that?
Okay, well first let's show you a little bit about how the thing operates, because it's a lot different than your normal car. First of all, where your gas pedal is at in your car today is your brake on this, and that's this pedal. So that's your brake.
So push that when I want to stop.
That's your stopping, that's your brake. The middle one is your reverse.
Oh.
Hopefully we don't have to go in reverse.
Let's not touch that.
And this one is going to make us move forward. Now this lever that's over here by your legs, that's your brake. That's your parking brake right now, and we're going to put it in the midway position, and that's going to be our neutral. We're going to be able to go in low speed that way.
How do we start?
How do we start? Well, up here is our gas, and over here is our spark advance. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to turn this on, and we're going to see if we can get this thing to start. It's a 1919 Model T, so this has electric start.
That's a long time ago.
Oh, come on. Phew. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
so it started.
Yep, I'll idle this down a little bit.
Idle it down. Got my legs in position.
So we've got the thing started. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna use your foot over there on that one. That's gonna move us forward. But we've gotta move that lever right there just to the middle section. So let's put the brake on right there. Push that all the way down. Just go to the middle and you'll kind of feel it where it catches.
It's there.
Let's see it. Right there. Okay, so go ahead and take your foot off the brake and we're gonna push that pedal, the other one right there, and just move forward. Of course, watch where we're going, but just go ahead and push that down and let's see if it moves.
We're moving. Ooh, here we go.
It's like with several things as we grow up. You know, when we were in school, we had auto shop and we had art classes and music and all these different things to pick from. But it seems today a lot of those programs have been cut. And even if they've not been cut, it's kind of hard sometimes for a young person to go and see art or anything and imagine themselves as being involved with that. Here at the Gilmore Car Museum, they'll look at a car and we explain to them, this is art. Somebody designed this, somebody picked the colors, somebody drew the lines. We do that with the hood ornaments and all the pieces that go into making the automobile and the history of it. And so I think we're giving young people an opportunity to see some of those and go, wow, I never thought of that as art. I never thought of, you know, the advertising they did for automobiles as art. Never thought of even designing a hood ornament as a piece of art, but actually when they see it, they go, wow, that's art. So I think it's important that we as a community resource share that, not just with the hobbyists and those people that really are taken by the antique cars, but with young people that get to see them for the first time and realize this is art.
Shelley, if someone's going to go to the museum, they really need to schedule some time because this collection is much more vast than you might think.
Often when you think of a museum, you think of a one building. This has at least, we'll call it 7 buildings that make up the campus. So you need to spend the day at the Gilmore Car Museum. This is a true walk through history, not only in the cars that you see, but also in the art that you see on the wall, in the diner that you visit, in the gas station that you visit. So make sure you wear good walking shoes.
It really is a lot of fun, some great nostalgia, and you got the opportunity very few people get. You were able to drive a Model T. How does that compare to driving a car today?
Oh, thank goodness for Henry Ford. But yes, a Model T we did drive, Jay and I, around the campus several times. First of all, there's no GPS on it, so that was difficult to maneuver. Not really. It was stiffer than normal, but we did have a pedal for the brake and a pedal for the go, and we did not run out of gas. But what an experience that is, and the air was our air conditioning, let's put it that way.
Well, good for you, and how lucky you were. Thank you, Shelley. And up next, Shelley stops by the Alchemist Sculpture Foundry at the Parks Trade Center to bring sculptures to life with Brent Harris.
I started out as a painter and illustrator, but my works were very sculptural. And once I started sculpture, I just never turned back. I like bronze because for its permanence. You know, I tried doing ceramics, I tried doing different materials. But a nice thing about bronze is, well, I like the process. I like, you know, pouring the metal. I like working in metal. But unlike steel, it's not going to corrode. You don't need to treat it. It's natural. It's going to survive forever. So there's something about that permanence to it. And I like what I can do with the metal. So there's something about how it shines, how it reflects through the patina that I just love.
Okay, I am ready to be instructed. What are we going to do?
Okay, well, at this point, the bronze has already been poured into these molds, and we need to get it out. This is like Christmas morning. So there's going to be wrapping paper all over the place.
Good, good. You've got a pretty good job.
So yeah, very exciting. So I'll go ahead and get started. I'll do the first couple of rips of the wrapping paper here, and then I'll give you a shot.
Great. Bring this down.
Yep.
Here we go.
We put our mask on. I'm going to turn the ventilation on.
Then we also use these tools. We also use this. There you go.
Nice, nice.
Gordie Howe was probably the seminal piece that we did. Brett and I, who was the former owner, my partner at the time, when we started the business, he was the big piece. He's Mr. Hockey. He was just, and so there was the name itself, but the piece itself was so large. It was just a massive piece for us. He's 8 feet tall. He's got a wingspan. He has all these multiple sticks, all this energy. They also use glass, so there's multiple media being used. Also, it was in a different material than we're normally used to. It's in something called white bronze, which doesn't weld very well for us. It's really difficult, and that was a big learning process, trying to figure out how to make it work. But it did, and it was beautiful.
Hammer first?
Yep. You go ahead and hammer these toes. And then once you're done, we could get this chisel and hammer some of this stuff off of these screws here.
Okay, here we go. So just hammer away, right?
Hammer away. Get at it.
This can get your emotions going. Okay, excellent.
All right,
Next.
give this a shot. Just pull the trigger and just aim at these areas. Maybe not at the feet, but just these bars here.
What am I pushing?
Trigger's right there.
Oh.
All right, and get in there.
Okay, excellent. Oh, okay, next.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Patina is just the color you add at the end of the process. Once everything's in metal, patina is usually a traditional acid-based patina where you heat up the piece with a torch and you spray different acid-based chemicals on it to change it to colors like reds, greens, blacks. With the patinas, you can do so much with them. Most traditional patinas you'll see outdoors, like at a park, they're black, browns, mostly green. The green comes from oxidation, so anything outdoors after a while is going to turn green. Because the chemicals that we use are acid-based, and acid rain also causes it. We are accelerating the aging process in many ways. It's a tradition. It's really an art form in and of itself because you're painting with heat. It's a real dance doing patinas, and I love it. It's my favorite part. I started out with painting, and so it's like, painting again.
Now, what are we going to do?
Well, now, just kind of get an idea. I'm going to hit the heck out of it and try to get this shell off, this turtle shell.
Is that?
So put your face mask down. It's got to fly. You ready?
Get ready.
There, you can see that metal underneath.
Yep. Start peeling, right?
Yeah. It takes quite a while.
But that's the purpose.
Yep.
I didn't realize the wiring was on it.
Just try to avoid hitting the metal.
Oh.
Yep, you don't want to dent it.
Oh.
Yeah, we wrap it in chicken wire because when we pour the metal into these molds, sometimes it'll expand or crack, and the chicken wire holds it all together in case there's a catastrophe.
Oh, we don't want that.
Right. You get molten metal everywhere.
One thing that's so fantastic about bronze specifically is that it lasts forever. They say that after people are gone, the bridges will rust, papers will disintegrate, concrete, grass will grow up to the concrete, but bronze will still be here. It won't It's non-ferrous. It won't go away. You know, Greek sculptures have been dug up, you know, out of the Aegean Sea, you know, and almost unchanged except for the patina, and it's just made even more beautiful because of the patina. So I think there's this timeless aspect to bronze that people really enjoy. There's a value in that. You know, it's a precious metal. And so when they get their work that's, you know, done in wood or clay or metal, to get it transformed into this precious metal, you know, it's an alchemy.
Shelley, let's talk a little bit about Brent's body of work.
Oh, speaking of bodies, that's one of his specialties. People, human figures, faces. There's an animal or two, but he certainly uses his figures to tell stories. These human objects, the art of science, the chemistry that's involved. There are some pieces that, well, the human body is naked, and it was very, very interesting to learn about his mission with his work.
And it's very physical. You actually engaged in some of it yourself. You can kind of get a workout while you do art. What was that like?
Yep. Many pieces go together with his end project. You think of sculpting as just taking some clay and modeling it, perhaps putting it into a heating object and it's done, but he goes to a casting where you actually have to break the cast to get to the end result that follows up by some chemicals added. But in my to-dos, I had to physically break this plaster, and it was tough, but he was talented at his art.
And I like the mask for safety.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Shelley. For our third segment, Shelley finds out what it really takes to make music with music producer Monteese Jordan.
What I produce, I dabble in several different genres. R&B and hip hop are my primary ones. I'd also say I'm into electronica and house music, so I do that on occasion as well. I'm also a poet, so a lot of times I'll do some of the smoother ones that don't really quite fit into a defined genre, but a little more R&B based.
A chick with beats is going to teach me how to beat. Take it away.
All right, first here, you're going to start with a metronome to kind of help you keep the rhythm. And we got your drum sounds here. We have a snare here. Ooh. And this is how we're going to start. So with whatever rhythm you decide to use,
just random.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's record that.
Really?
I'd have to say that I'm probably not what most people imagine when they think of a girl who makes beats. Well, first of all, a lot of people don't think of women making beats, but we are out there. But yeah, I feel that I bring like a certain femininity to it where a lot of times if females interested in things that are particularly male dominated, we're considered to be tomboys, which I'm not. And I just believe in pouring my heart into my music. I'm not doing it for the money, although that is important, but it's more about continuing the legacy of, you know, the original good music, not just doing cookie cutter music just because it fits into a mold of what radio and mainstream believes music should be. Get some melody going.
Wow. So you recorded that, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's all in there, ready for us to add some cool stuff.
What if I wanted a sound that was expressing a good day, a happy day? How would you do that?
For me, a lot of times I think about songs that make me cheerful, different instruments. I'm a huge fan of piano, bouncy songs. I also
So we'd
like
use this
plectrums.
instrument here?
Yeah.
Let's pretend. Let's pretend I want a song with a happy theme.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You
just do it for me.
So a lot of it depends on the chords. There's certain ones that give you like a cheerful feeling,
Yeah.
you know. If you even think about, you know, the old school like Heart and Soul, you know. Like it just kind of, there's certain chords that just make you feel good, and there's some that are kind of sad.
How about scary? What if I wanted something with a scary background?
What? When I really want to give, you know, kind of that eerie feeling in the song, I love to use strings. And I have one particular sound that's like my favorite. It's my go-to. Let's see here. Oh. There we go. See, there's so many to choose from here. It kind of gives you that movie scoring
That's
feeling.
what I want. Yeah. There's my eerie scary. And then you would combine that with other tones.
With other
and-
elements. Yep. You know, like I said, for me, you know, I know all producers do things differently, but for me, I'll just continue building until I feel that the song is complete with whatever vibe I was trying to create in the first place.
Nice.
I feel that what I do is considered art just because it's incredibly reliant on the right brain. Sometimes you can try to use the technical side of things to, you know, program your drums this way, but it's about a feeling that it creates. So it's nothing that's cut and dry. It's not black and white. You don't know if you've chosen the right drum sound unless you feel it. So, I mean, there's no exact formula that you can use. It's just about what feels right and you know will inspire others.
So this is where we just recorded my beat in the background.
Drums, yep. So you've got that set to go. Now you're ready to add a melody with this synth sound. You ready?
Ready.
All right.
What am I doing? Playing?
We're going to record it. Yep.
Push it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have one called Symphonic, which actually has become a song since the time that I made the beat, but the beat itself was titled Symphonic just because I use so many different sounds, strings and timpanis, and it sort of reminded me of a symphony when I made it. So that's what I called it, even though after, you know, I did that and then listened to it again and I decided that the title was going to have, you know, something separate as a song itself, but the beat is still called Symphonic.
How would you, is this like rhythm and blues? Is what style are we
This
looking
is
at?
actually kind of trippy. Oh. Which they're all kind of strange sounds. You can play around with it.
Let's go with this one. I like that. Hold it. Keep holding it.
Do it now.
Keep holding it. Oh my gosh.
Tap it again.
You're putting it together. Yep, you're good.
It's incredibly important to support the arts in Kalamazoo because without supporting it, there's no reason for it to continue. If I'm making music that no one's listening to, then, you know, what's the purpose? With all the live shows and performances, all the people pouring their time and energy into creating something to entertain others, it means a lot to see that, I guess, being reciprocated by saying, hey, you know, we appreciate you. We're going to come and see your show. We're going to, you know, purchase that CD. We're going to purchase those instrumentals. So, I mean, it's important. While, you know, it's good to have likes and love, you need that financial backing to allow you to continue doing what you're doing.
Okay, Shelley, who is Monteith Jordan?
Well, this is an artist that does it all, from producing to singing to songwriting. She's got this electricity, this electric beat that's going on, also rhythm and blues, and she's one that can spend days composing, writing, and all of a sudden she looks up and it's dinner time. So you get inspired by her passion.
And I understand she's even created her own record label.
Yep, it's, let me quote, Casa del Dope Beats, and it's a label not only for her own work but for work of others. So she's interested in helping other singer-songwriters. She's very young. She does it all from start to finish. So get to know Monteith Jordan.
Oh, good for her. It's fun to watch someone with a true passion for what they're interested in. Thank you, Shelley, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Kalamazoo Lively Arts. Next week, Shelley goes backstage with members of the band Joe Hertler and the Rainbow Seekers, their characters, gets dusty with chainsaw worker Aaron Stinson, and checks the time with clockmaker Rick Hale. All of them are in the same band. From the Kalamazoo State Theater, I'm John Koch. Have a good night.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.